Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market. Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale, your local experts on all things real estate in Middle Tennessee. Listen in as they discuss the current state of the market, the latest trends, and have a little fun while doing it. We do want to say the opinions voiced on this podcast are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individuals.
Well, it was pretty. Mom was doing the. Needs a blue chew.
Go. Live, go.
Rock and roll. We're live.
I don't know if that last comment was live or not, but
it was not.
Okay, thank goodness. Goodness gracious. If only y'all could be a fly on this wall, you would never hire us ever.
Don't tease the people.
Yeah, no.
Let's have a show.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, for sure. Hey, greetings, everybody. It's Jonathan Harmon and Bryan Nale here with This Week in Real Estate. And we've got a show for you. It's going to be great. We got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. Are we live? Are we good? Okay. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we heard mumbling and it sounded like I was wasting my breath, but I guess I wasn't.
No, well, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of am anyway.
Leave a comment below. Was Jonathan wasting his breath or no?
Hurt my feelings. Do it. I dare you. Okay.
He can take it.
I can take it. I might break down on screen, but I can take it anyway.
As Jonathan was alluding to, we have a show. So let's move straight into it and hit these headlines and market movers.
Yeah. You still think that guy's AI?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
He looks so real.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, man.
Hey, if we have time today, I want to tell you about an AI experience I had yesterday.
Let's get into that. We can segue here. The Fed met last month, middle of the month in June, and the headline to me here coming out of that meeting was really that this was Kevin Warsh's first meeting as the Fed chair, and the
Powell was still there, right?
Yes, Powell's still on the board,
right?
So, but there was this hope, I think, out there with a lot of people that hey, once Powell's out of the way, we'll be able to get the Fed to start to lower rates, and that's not what happened, right? Like they met, and then Warsh was very indifferent, didn't want to give a lot of forward guidance. His message was future decisions will be made on incoming information. So he didn't give a lot of forward-looking information. If anything, that was a little hawkish because a lot of the expectations or the income information are going to be higher inflation because of the ongoing conflict in Iran and employment staying pretty strong and things, tariffs that are still out there that are kind of inflationary by nature. And so you had the Fed was kind of split in the dot plot. You had most coming out of the meeting, the general consensus was maybe one rate hike this year and then followed by one cut next year and one cut the year after that. But I think anytime you look out further than 6 months in this economy and in this news cycle, if you're looking out further than 6 months, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen.
And even 6 months is a long time.
It is.
I mean, You got to think, look at the beginning of this year, if things were going one direction and we invaded foreign country and all bets are off.
Yeah. Everything changed on a dime. So there was that. I think so the takeaway there is, I would expect, and this is Bryan Nale talking, not the company. This is right. Bryan Nale talking, and I'm just expecting kind of a flat market. I don't think we're going to see rates really shooting up. They already kind of have. They're near 10-month highs right now. So I feel like we're probably in a spot where rates will stay flat, maybe improve a little bit here, a little bit there. But overall, I think that, from July through the end of the year, we're going to see kind of a flat rate environment. I don't know what that's going to do to prices because it seemed like transactions were picking up and we were heading into a really busy summer season. And with rates kind of reversing courses, it's kind of put a wet blanket on that activity. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with home sales prices and values over the next few weeks. But the transition bringing it back to AI is that one of the things that the Fed talked about was how that they don't think so. Right now, AI is fueling the stock market, and you got a lot of companies that are AI centric, AI focused. Their stock prices are soaring right now, but the Fed, one of the things coming out of their meeting was that they expect AI to eventually and ultimately be anti-inflationary because it will increase productivity.
Except that an increase in productivity can also be translated into a reduction in the overall job market.
Right, which would be anti-inflationary.
Yeah.
So you have fewer incomes, fewer dollars come into American U.S. households because of that efficiency. When we say efficiency, a lot of times what we mean is, job replacement, job
elimination,
things like that.
And so this is, we've talked about this on so many different occasions, and everything you're saying makes sense, anti-inflationary, but understand that the problems that we have right now with affordability overall are not dictated by one particular variable, one particular circumstance, right? So if you're on the fence about buying a house right now, and you're saying, I'm not going to buy a house because rates are too high, right? Understand that getting rates to come down has other effects as well.
Yeah.
Right. So if the things that happen that can be anti-inflationary and make those rates eventually come down happen, it could also mean that you lose your job.
Right.
So, we've said this so many times when we talked a long time ago, we were talking about the whole soft landing idea, and I've said over and over and over and over, we're going to have to hurt in order to truly recover from essentially way rapid inflation. Yeah. Right. And that especially in the housing market, that's what happened through 19 to 22 ish, right? In that span, we had hyperinflation on the housing market, caused by a few things, but the number one catalyst by far, no doubt about it, was an absurdly low interest rate. And so, in order to recover from that, drug induced, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Situation that we had, you have to almost cold turkey it. And we didn't, we soft landed it, and we're still in that. We're still looking at recovery. And meanwhile, life happens, right? Meanwhile, we have all kinds of other circumstances, whether it's disease or war or whatever that happen. And so it just prolongs that. So rather than recover and then deal with the next crisis, we tried to do this number, and we're still in it.
You said we had to hurt, we had to go through pain. Well, maybe the pain that was prescribed in this situation was just a longer, prolonged, higher rate environment.
And this is pure opinion. Okay, for me, if I got to recover from something, if the doctor gives me the choice between a shot with a needle this long or 3 weeks worth of pills, I'm taking the shot every time.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Get me better, get me quick.
Right now.
Yeah.
I want to hurt for even if it's worse.
Yeah.
I want to hurt for as little time as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Let me move on.
So we'll see what happens with values if we stay in this high rate environment. We'll see what happens with days on market, with list prices. We'll see what happens with all that. But
we covered it last week.
Yeah.
We already know what's going to happen. And if the high rate environment continues, we've already seen that the spring selling season was very short.
Right.
And overall severely underperforming. Right. We already see now the inventory is about, I think we said it was 14% higher than this time last year. Mm-hmm. We already see days on market going 10+% higher than it was this time last year. We already see prices starting to table and even drop just ever so slightly. And I think that we'll see, and not only that, but we're seeing, remember that whole margin between median and average closed. So the outlier properties are slowing, right?
So you to kind of paint a picture of what Jonathan's saying, and you tell me at the end of my summation if this sounds about right. You've had this pendulum, right? And it's been swinging back and forth, or maybe it's a scale, if you will. And so you got the scale, and for such a long time, it was heavily weighted towards sellers. It was 100% a seller's market.
Well, let's go back to 09 and 08, right? It was heavily weighted towards buyers.
Right.
Then we went flat.
and then it heavily tilted towards sellers with
Pretty
the lower
quickly.
rates. And now we kind of found this equilibrium, but if we stay in a higher rate environment, does this kind of flat market start to tip even stronger towards your buyers? And I would say a flat market is one in where buyers can take the time to pick out the house that they want to buy, but they still have to get in there with something. Eventually houses are going to find buyers. But if you come in early enough to a house's days on market, you can still get it under contract with getting some seller concessions, maybe a lower sales price or sellers paying some of your closing costs. We go full tilt, and this thing continues to swing back in the other direction with higher rates. You do start to see values dropping, and then and even with values dropping, you're able to get a lower sales price and some concessions. Now you're truly, now to me, this is Bryan Nale definition, not what the market consensus definition might be, but to me that's a true buyer's market. If it goes to where right now you can get one or the other on offer price or sales price, if you will.
Occasionally you get both
and seller concessions. But if it becomes more the norm where you can get both, that is going to be a straight up buyer's market.
And meanwhile, we also have a whole other situation that's happening at the same time. And it's more of a, cultural phenomenon, if you will. Everything, news cycle, attention span, everything is getting shorter.
Yeah.
Right. So historically, and we've said this several times too, historically, an even market is where we have 7 months of inventory. Right. And then anything lower than that is a seller's market. Anything higher than that is a buyer's market. Right. That has 100% shifted. So when I started in real estate, 7 months was it. Right. And we were solidly in that, 9 to 12 months worth of inventory. It was absolutely 100% a buyer's market. Right. And then you shift that back to, let's say the height of it, right? 2021. Okay. The beginning of 2021, we're at, less than a month of inventory, right? I mean, it literally everything was immediate. Right. And it is the biggest, seller's market I've ever seen, right? As opposed to the buyer's market before. Well, now everything that is happening, everything in the market that's going on right now, and I've said it's all the markets at one time, but right now it is leaning significantly more towards what I saw in 09, 10, 11, and 12, right? So we're definitely slanted, to me, more towards that buyer's market right now, even though we've only got whatever 3.9 or whatever it is months of inventory. But part of that is that at the same time that we saw demand shrink, we saw supply shrink. And so the overall picture, the overall, like the body of information that we're talking about is just significantly smaller. Everything is. Yeah. And our attention spans are smaller.
100%.
So all of those things at one time, I think we have to redefine those numbers for what a buyer and a seller's market is.
I mean, I think we've been saying that. I know I've been stomping my feet on that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That you can't use the old 7 months of inventory as the benchmark of what kind of market it is. And the market's telling us that. The market is telling us that, what are we at now in inventory?
Total inventory available in Rutherford County, it's like, I don't know, 1,700 homes or something like that.
So it's 4 months inventory, 3 months inventory?
Time wise, yeah, it's right under 4.
So and we've been there for a while, and we've been feeling it. I mean, that's a pretty, I guess to what I was saying a few minutes ago, that feels like it's a buyer's market, even though it might technically kind of be a flat market.
Well, 3.9 months of inventory in 09, you're like, Leroy Jenkins, let's go. Like this is, we're good.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh God, it's forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's definitely requiring some paradigm shifting. If you are somebody that has been in the industry for a long time, you're scratching your head. I know I am sometimes. If you're someone that is just now getting into the market and you're trying to learn from some mentors, you're probably getting I don't know, let's try it.
Yeah.
You're probably getting that quite a bit. And it's just different. And no markets are ever the same, right? Every single day. And it's so interesting how we can talk about one particular factor in it. And then, but wait, there's more. It's like a ShamWow commercial,
Yeah.
So
and
the AI thing, go ahead.
Yeah. Go back to the AI thing and then let's hit the other headline.
Yeah. So this is a real quick, fun story, I guess. Okay. So I've started leveraging specifically ChatGPT a little bit for some different things. A lot of it has been brainstorm guidance, which has been great, right? Let me dump some ideas in here, get some ideas back, read that, cherry pick some of those, and then implement something away from it, right? Man, I dumped some more information in there yesterday and started talking about essentially building out like a playbook, right? So just brain dump a bunch of information about how I run my team, because I just keep it all up here, right? And so just brain dumping it in there. And on multiple occasions over the years, 17 years now, almost 18 years, I've done this in various forms, typing it out, dictating it to an assistant, whatever. This time I put some stuff in there, and with all the things that I had already done, it spit out some stuff. And Brian, I swear to you, like I got a little teary. I was like, oh my God, this thing understands me better than I do.
Wow.
It was weird. But it was neat at the same time. And this is not look at this boomer. I'm not a boomer, but everybody's like, okay, boomer, whatever. But it's not like one of those like, oh, look how neato AI is. My point in all of that is you said this about how the AI boom is happening and how that leveraging those efficiencies, that's going to be anti-inflationary. If you are my age or older and you are doubting that is true, and you think that it's a fad, and you think that, whatever it is that your curmudgeon self thinks, right? Or if you're younger than me and you're like, I hate AI is going to take my job, you're right.
I'd say, Jonathan, I don't think there's many people that are our age, Gen X, Millennial, whatever have you, and older, who think that AI is a fad. I think that there's a lot more of us in our space who are afraid of it than, and so my point or my message would be, you got to figure out how to leverage it and how to embrace it and get with it, because it's not going to go away. This is not a fad. There's been, and in our industry, how many times in the last 30, 40 years has there been someone or some company who's tried to come in and disrupt the market? We've seen it time and time again. Everybody sees what real estate commissions are, and they think, man, that's a lot of money. They don't understand the work that goes into it. They don't understand the risk that goes into it and what it feels like to, I had a mentor tell me one time, you'll never make real money until you do something 100% commission. You have to step off the ledge to do that. And so there's a risk reward situation here going, like, nobody's going to take that risk to do something that's 100% commission if the reward isn't there to justify that risk.
And the reward lies in your ability to help someone else take that risk and guide them in all of those things.
Yes. But I think you've had in other industries, tech industries, namely, but other people who sit back and go, I want a piece of that. Look how much money there is in real estate.
And how do I come in there?
How do I come in there and you can kind of disrupt that industry so that I can get some of that pie? And to this point in time, the answer for all of them has been better luck next time. You didn't do it. It didn't work out. And the reason, I think, has been ultimately that people, when they're making major life decisions, they want to have another person who they can, to use old sales adage, know, like, and trust, to help guide them through that interaction.
It's been there, done that, understands the emotions, understands that it's not acquiring an asset.
When I worked in retail banking, everyone was like, man, bank branches are going to start closing because there's so much digital banking now. There's so much that you do online. There's direct deposit. If you look at the number of visits in branch financial centers, it's super low. When I started, man, like on Friday afternoons, even on just any given day of the week, we would be busy throughout the day with people coming in to make deposits, cash checks, inquire about their accounts, things like that. And over the 12 years that I worked in retail banking, you saw branch foot traffic just falling off the table. Well, where are all the branch closers? Why are we continuing to see more bank branches open than we are seeing branches close? And the answer lies in the studies that showed that most, even millennials at that time, and this is 12 years ago, 15 years ago. So millennials, were young. They were the young generation, the new kids on the block. And they still, when asked, said that their number one determining factor on who they were going to bank with was convenience of financial locations. Because when they're opening up their bank accounts, when they're thinking about who they want to trust with their finances, they want to know that when they make the big decisions, or if they need something on their account, there's somewhere they can go and talk to a person. And eventually, though, I'm telling you, that pendulum, again, back to another pendulum metaphor today, didn't see that coming. There's my bingo card. Didn't see 2 pendulum references in this show, but it will swing. It will swing to the point where people are more comfortable with digital and artificial intelligence and getting there and not needing to come in to see a person to make these decisions. And when it comes to real estate, that's going to mean there's going to be some disruption. And I do believe that this market will be this disruptor is one who will come in and to some extent be successful in disrupting the real estate industry.
But I think where it will be successful is its ability to mimic and mirror human interaction. And when you get right down to it, you have to understand, and I know you do, but you have to understand that money is not about ability to buy things, right? The having wealth, having money, having, credit, whatever it happens to be, it's about security and it's about comfort. And so those are like core human needs, right? And especially in our particular culture here in the US, we don't have a lot. I mean, there are some, okay, don't misunderstand. But if you look at like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the base ones are pretty much met.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's circumstances. I get all of that. Right. But they pretty much are. So your average Joe is more thinking about comfort, safety, right? Security, those kinds of things. I've gotten past base 1, base 2. Now what do I do to protect that? And so that comes down to banking, comes down to acquiring a home, all of those kinds of things. And in order to do that, we not only want to do it, we want to feel connected and reassured that we did the right decision. And the only way to do that is through human connection. Well, as AI becomes more human-like and acquires the body of knowledge and has that algorithm that says, okay, when a human does this, they typically have this emotion. And when they have this emotion, they can mirror that emotion and they get good at discerning that. You're right.
Yeah. Well, and I believe, though, when I say disruption, that means there are going to be winners as well. It's not just going to be losers out there. There are going to be winners. So it gets back to our generations and really any generations, because you're right. You mentioned people graduating college now, they're looking at AI with big old hatred eyes, right? Because they're worried that they're not gonna be able to get a job and have a career.
And they might be right.
But those who can figure this thing out and leverage it are going to be the ones who find success, over the next 20 years.
And this goes back to one of my life philosophies. There are people that things happen to, and there are people that make things happen. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that boat and you're saying, we're way off topic here, but there was a situation that I got myself involved into, like somebody else's conversation, and I just kind of jumped in because it's what I do on social media. Because my wife says that I'm an idiot, and sometimes I am. But it was I will never use a small business that uses AI to generate their post content or whatever. And it was a local person that made this statement that they won't support a local business that leverages an AI. Instead, you should have the budget to hire a graphic designer, right? There's all kinds of ways that I can talk about this, but at the end of the day, that same person needs to understand that you can fight it all you want. But at some point in time, you'll just never go to a local business.
Yeah.
I mean, you just won't, because they're going to use it, because why would they not?
Yeah. Well, we can have a whole show about supporting local, and if you don't want to see that happen, then how do you support your local, and not as an individual, but as a community, support the local businesses so that they have the budget to do those things. That's a whole nother show, another topic.
A bold statement like that, though, that says, I will never, because of that.
Yeah.
You're fighting a losing battle.
Yeah. Let's move us over to our favorite part of the show, which is
please.
This is Real.
I need to put this.
What we got here?
Is that it? Wait, hold on.
All right, that looks like the bottom of an elephant or a rhinoceros or something. So there's got to be a top to it. It's a convertible table, right? So like you can take this table and you can make it look like there's a rhinoceros in your room, or you can have dinner
Sure it's not a
around it. Yeah, totally.
Is it a desk?
Is it a desk?
Why is it red in the middle?
It's fancy. It's red in the middle because it's fancy.
Dude, I think it's a dinosaur.
She said it's a box sitting on the table.
Oh, I think it's a dinosaur. Look at how that's like that.
Yeah, it's got glass on it. It's a glass table.
Oh, this is something that's sitting. Wait, what?
The red thing is sitting on top of the glass. You see the glass towards its butt.
Oh, okay. Well, this is all right. What else we got going on in this picture? We got some nice lighting. We got some otherwise nice furniture. We got,
but how can you see
nice
anything besides that table, Brian?
This is an example of how to lose the focus. This could have been a really nice listing, and it may be a really nice listing.
All I see is the table. It is amazing.
Yeah, the box off, that'd be good.
Do you think that they sell those tables on Wayfair?
Probably, maybe.
I need a table. I need a giraffe one.
We
I
need
love
to do
giraffes.
some research on this and figure out where this table can be purchased.
All right.
And if there's a whole line of
zoo animal kitchen tables.
Yeah. I love it.
All right. If we find it, ladies and gentlemen, we will post the link in the comments.
And don't wait on us to find it. If you
don't
are
hold your breath.
a search warrior out there, go find it and drop the link in the comments.
Search warrior? That's I've never heard that. I like that. That's good.
Right there. All right. Well, we got a pro tip coming up.
I need a table like that. Texas.
No. Let's talk about property taxes.
I thought he said go to Texas. I was like, I'm from Texas. Anyway, okay. So property taxes. Many, like all of you, if you have not checked your mail yet, you're the lone exception. If you own property here in Rutherford County over the last week or so, you've received an update to your tax appraisal. And
tax assessment,
but and an appraisal. There's an appraisal
tax appraisal
piece of that, right? And the reason that you got that is every 4 years by statute, every 4 years by statute, they have to reappraise and then reassess the taxes here in everywhere in every county, but
it's a state legislated thing.
Exactly.
It's not Rob Mitchell decided he wanted to make more money for the
every
government.
4 years has to happen.
It's not Joe Carr deciding he wanted to make more money for the government. It's just a process that goes through, and it's independent.
Yep. And now here's the fun part. Okay. You mentioned that they want to make more money. So there's a process to that as well. So the way that it works, and I'll tell you the whole story. So the way that it works is that the reappraisal, the reassessment cannot in and of itself make the county more money. Okay. So if our tax rate was say 22%, right? And the appraised values collectively of all the properties would have netted more money at that same rate for the county, then they have to drop the rate.
Or they can vote to not.
Hold on a second. Step one, they have to drop the rate. Okay. That has to happen. Okay. From the tax assessor's office. Step two, however, is that they can turn around and vote to then raise the dropped rate back to the original one or to whatever the state maximum is or whatever, right? So they can eventually get to the point where they make more money as a county based on those increased assessments, but they can't do it immediately. So there is a process. So the tax assessor, Rob Mitchell, this is what the appraisal says, right? And therefore the assessment, drop the rate because it has to zero out. And then the county commission goes in and they have conversations and they look at all the things and then they vote to then raise that. Now, it feels like it's immediate because it's got to happen pretty quickly, right? All of those came out in the end of June, beginning of July. Okay. And ultimately they're going to want to get that on the, get that settled essentially before October 1st to print it and send it out. Right. If they want to try to do it this year, or they can do it next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So no, your taxes have not immediately necessarily gone way up. They might have gone up. Right. But
some might have gone down.
Some might have gone down. But here's the other thing to understand. The last time it was done was 2022. Okay. So we're coming off of a tremendous boom in pricing in Rutherford County. Okay. So this happens. All of these properties, they still weren't really sure if we were in a down cycle or an up cycle. Had we tapered off yet? Prices hadn't really dropped. Right. So they reassess. And what happened is from 2022 to 2026, prices still kept going up a little bit. Okay. My point is that in 2022, there's a decent chance that your property was undervalued on your appraisal. And it definitely would have been in 2018 based on what happened over the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
Right? So you got a break for a little while. Okay. Then it catches up. Well, it just so happens that if you've spoken to a real estate agent about selling your house in the last year, right, all you're getting oftentimes on prices is, I don't know, we got a little softening going on, a little bit of a downturn, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff, right? And then you get this appraisal and it's showing a value way high. I actually had some townhomes, for example, a townhome that I'm talking about listing with somebody. I've been talking with them for a little while. And the number that I told them they needed to list their house at to get it sold, and the comps absolutely support it, the numbers that I told them were lower than what their tax appraisal is after I had the conversation with them. So they look at me like, what's wrong with you?
Because historically, tax assessed values are usually going to be lower than
oftentimes.
The market.
Yeah.
But that's because they come out every 4 years, and over the next 3 years, properties should increase in value. So eventually that curve is going to pass it on the curve. Right. So, I hear everything that you're saying. Sometimes I struggle with that, because it should, if it's the value of your house at this snapshot in time, it should be pretty close to what the market would say it is.
But understand that snapshot may have been done that snapshot wasn't done 2 days before you got it in the mail.
Very true.
So it's been done over the last year.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's a great point. That is a fantastic point, because
in that span, you just happen to get notification of it.
Right.
That's all.
But they might have determined your value 6 months ago, because they can't assess the hundreds of thousands of properties
all at one time,
all of this on a given day. So they're going to go through them.
It's a process. Yeah. Yep. Now,
good point.
The good news is, and this is the pro tip, so understand where we're coming from. The good news is, starting 2 days ago, you're able to contest that, and you've got a month to contest it. So if you would like to contest that, all you got to do, gather up the comps, build your case, right? And you go up to the tax assessor's office, get an appointment, whatever, and you can contest it. Okay. Not saying you're going to win, probably won't, but you can try. And if it's way off, it's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, get the best comps you can get. If you would, I've had, 5 or 6 conversations with people about this since those came out. Okay. If you want to get some comps on your place and you need somebody to pull those for you and send them to you, I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
The dichotomy here just is so hilarious, because we all want our values higher. We all want our
until we got to pay the bill,
until we have to pay the taxes. And then we don't want, that's not what my house is worth. But if you were trying to sell your house right now and a realtor told you could get that for it, you'd be like, heck yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Or even, well, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny.
Good pro tip. Let's go to Shiny Penny. So I think we got shiny penny here is just that there's so much opportunity. We talked about all of these different things, and you could watch the show right now at this point and be like, oh, doom and gloom. They talked about AI, they talked about home values going down, they talked about tax bills and all this doom. But just the shiny to me is that hey, we're still in United States, land of the free, 250 years of democracy, 250 years of a land of opportunity. I don't believe that's going to go away.
Yeah.
I believe that whatever political turmoil we might have right now, whatever climate we're in, you can look back over the last 250 years and you can find all kinds of 10-year, 20-year stretches where there was a lot of fear and uncertainty. And at the end of the day, ingenuity, hard work, and just that gumption to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps has served our country very well. And I think that that's going to continue to be the case. So my shiny penny is
that was motivating,
happy
buddy.
Birthday, America.
Yeah. So man, a little teary over here, but so a couple things, and I remember what I was gonna say about that. So number one is that shiny penny is that chaos breeds opportunity.
Yes.
So anytime that there's chaos, there's an opportunity. Whether it's that you get to settle the chaos for someone else, or you get to come out of that chaos in some way better. So chaos breeds opportunity, and we're absolutely seeing that. So there are circumstances, if you are looking at buying a home right now, there are circumstances where, depending on how picky you are, if you're not picky, you just want to get a good deal on something, man, they're out there. Now, you might have to work for it. We might have to try a couple of different times, whatever, but the opportunities 1,000% are out there. We just got to read the room, right? And that's something I'm decent at. Okay.
Right here.
So read the room. The second thing, I did have one real opportunity, or one real shiny penny. I had a meeting yesterday with a young man, and God, I'm freaking old because I just said young man. And he is building some houses. Him and his brother are building some houses that, quite frankly, I didn't know existed in Murfreesboro. Like true, honest to goodness, like from television luxury homes. Stunning.
Wow. Absolutely
Stunning. Very expensive, and they should be, but they feel like they're worth it, which you can't always say that, right? And anyway, and his story was incredible. He's late 20s, so compared to me, he's a young man. His brother's a little bit older, but he came out of I forgot exactly what it's called, but the Urban League. Attended a bunch of classes through that to learn about land development. And just like his story is just absolutely incredible. And y'all, when I say that these houses that they're building are incredible, I'm not even kidding. I truly did not know that Murfreesboro had houses like this.
Tell us where they are.
So the two particular ones that I've walked through and looked at are off of Compton Road. So take 96 out towards like DeKalb County, and you turn left on Compton, and there's this little tiny enclave of a subdivision called Boura, Boura. And I mean, dude, these houses start in the upper 1 millions and go all the way to 3. And they're stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Fantastic. Maybe we should do a live remote.
We should. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been This Week in Real Estate, and we hope you have a great week next week.